All right, there is a growing consumer trend called the no buy challenge where you buy only the essentials to help keep more money in your wallet. The trend though can span anywhere from a no buy week to a no buy year in which buyers like to avoid any and all unnecessary spending. Things you really need like food and medicine don't count towards the goal. So the hope is that at the end of it all, you should have more conscious spending habits and a little more money in the bank. But of course, many Americans, we love a good deal, right? Another new trend called spaving, which is a combo of spending and saving. It refers to thinking that you are saving money when you're actually just spending it. So joining us today, Mark Triplett from Triplett Westendorf Financial Group. Joining us to break this all down, Mark, we just love a good deal. We've talked about this. What are some examples of spaving?
Sure. So I'm just as susceptible as anybody else to spaving. Anytime you're spending extra money to get a good deal, that's spaving. So let's say I go to the convenience store, I can get one donut for 98 cents, or I can get a 6-pack for $3. Oh man, I'm getting a deal, even though I'm not going to eat 6 donuts. And then we got to stop by the cooler and get a Red Bull. There's $3.50 for one, or I can get 2 for $6. Now I'm walking out of the store with basically $12 less than I started with. And that's spaving. And sometimes those deals aren't even deals. If you go to the grocery store, for example, and you see an advertisement where you get 3 items, 3 of the same item for $12, but then you see that the items themselves are only $4, psychologically you feel like you're getting a deal, but you're not.
That's, we see it more often than we think. When it comes to spaving, what can this kind of snowball into as far as any potential problems that can come with it in the long run?
Sure. Well, when you're spending more on items that maybe you don't need, it's less left over for the things that you do. And with more than 60% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, and even those making over $100,000 a year, 50% of them are living paycheck to paycheck, which is a completely different discussion for a different day. You end up spending money on that you shouldn't on things that you don't need. That leaves less left over, and some folks end up putting money on credit cards, taking on debt because of that great deal they're trying to get.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there about credit card debt, especially with a lot of Americans struggling with that. Spaving, of course, can contribute to that. So what are just 1 or 2 good points people can keep in mind that can hopefully help them prevent the spaving habit?
Well, 2 things. Number 1, look at your spending plan, review what you're spending money on, and try to cut back. I loved your first tip there at the very beginning of making sure that you're only buying the essentials. A good way to start that is just making sure that you are tracking your spending and create a good spending plan. If you do find yourself going into debt already, assess the situation, determine how much you actually owe and what the interest rates are on each one of those credit cards that you own, and then start making a plan to pay that down. And once you get that money paid off, redirect those dollars towards emergency savings, and don't forget about your retirement.
And just real quick, for hopefully people can take away some good information from this, but if you're in public, if you're at the store, what is something good to kind of help you stop and think about whether you're spaving or not? What is something to look out for?
So I am a chronic label reader and advertisement reader. And so I will look at those deals and find out, is it actually a deal? Do I have to buy that second and third item to get that deal? Or is the price of that item actually the same no matter what? So just be aware of those type of strategies that retailers use to get us to buy, and then go into the grocery store, for example, with a list of the things that you need and walk out with only those things on that list. Cross them off as you go and try to avoid all of the temptations as you walk through the aisles.
All right, a little research, a little prep. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you for having us.